Scott, we've got the Northwest Conference men's golf tournament coming up, but before we talk about that, let's look back. First, let's start with the NWC Spring Classic. Obviously, it didn't turn out the way that you and the team might have hoped. What were the challenges we faced, and where do we go from there?
Sure. Yeah, so Wine Valley, very familiar golf course for our guys, especially with our veteran lineup. We didn't shoot bad scores. It was the playing conditions were very scoreable compared to some other times at that particular property. The greens are known to be big, large, fast, firm, and a lot of that was true except for they were really soft. And the putts were smooth but slower, so if anything, I feel like it brought the field closer together. The conditions were much more scoreable. There wasn't a lot of trouble to be had, and we just simply didn't make a lot of birdies. You know, again, the scores, if you look back over the last several years, would be comparable with being in the top couple placings at that particular course. It's just that the rest of the teams took advantage, or I should say the teams that finished in front of us took advantage of those scoreable conditions where we just kind of struggled to make birdies. There were some decent individual performances in there, especially on the final day. A couple rounds under par from Gabe and Andy. Andy, a freshman who's kind of recently been a regular in our lineup. And some of the guys that have shot rounds in some horrific conditions there in the high 60s just didn't have that same scoring ability that we've had in the past there. So we dug ourselves a little bit further of a hole as far as the overall conference standings go. But, with that result, we still have some hope of climbing up the conference leaderboard, and I think that's really practical to do here in the coming week.
Well, you got a good turnaround this past weekend, a good performance at the South Puget Sound tournament that they held. What did you like about what you saw in terms of being able to finish strongly?
Sure. For one, it was just kind of a fun tournament. We were able to take all of our guys. We were able to stay at one of our players' houses. It ended up being 6 minutes from the golf course, and the Masters tournament was going on. So a lot of just kind of camaraderie on the road, kind of the final trip of the season where everyone gets to go. Golf's such a unique sport where many times you're either in the lineup or you're not, and if you're not in that top five, you stay at home, unlike a lot of our other sports where, there's subs that may or may not get into the game, but they still get to participate on the road trips and stuff. So from a team building standpoint, especially with some of the younger guys on the roster, with such a veteran dominant team, it was just a great experience. And then the golf, we ran into two pretty good days on the west side. The course was completely saturated in almost every step, mud squished out. They made some rules and things that helped negate the impact on the score as far as that went. And we played well. I wouldn't say we played great because we had a chance to kind of finish off the tournament in the last several holes, and we'd end up not doing that to get the win. But there were, again, some good individual performances and just some steady play and some confidence-boosting rounds. And, the whole idea of this event, one was to make up for one of our cancellations early in the season, and then also just to build some confidence heading into the weekend.
So now you've got the Northwest Conference tournament down at McMinnville, Michael Book.
Yep.
Perhaps the same goals that you had set at the beginning of the year might not be within reach, but what are the goals now for this weekend?
Sure. Yeah, and we still feel like we have one of the top rosters in our conference, if not kind of on the west coast of Division III golf. And, our issue has been just we've been a very volatile team in that our rounds are kind of all over the place, and then just the volatility within our scoring and in whoever makes up our top five on you never really know who's going to play great or who's going to struggle a little bit, which has ultimately led to some rounds that we're not ultimately pleased with. So in this particular case, our goal is to go win the golf tournament, and although the overall conference standings would be a long shot just with the deficit we've created, the opportunity to go play well on a course that we've played exceptional at in the past. I think the last round we played there, we shot 12 under as a team, which is, that's some of the best golf in Division III across the country. Our conference is absolutely loaded this year, and it's easy to find yourself at the end of a long season with all the travel we've done and all the work we've put in. Just an unbelievably dedicated group of just really good guys on our golf team who've done everything correct, and it doesn't always just work out in scoring. And at the end of the day, if we go win this tournament, you've played sensational golf because the top 3 or 4 or 5, 6 teams in our conference is as good as it's ever been that I'm aware of as far as like the drop-off. There used to be a giant drop-off on the bottom 3 or 4 teams. That's just not the case anymore. There's lots and lots of guys that shoot 75 or less every week, and those are the type of scores. Even when I was on the golf team Now, over 20 years ago, if you shot 75 for your 4 counting scores, you're winning every week. And I'm just really proud of the other coaches in the conference and the players in the conference for just raising the bar. And with that, we need to do the same. Our expectation is to be near or at the top of the conference every year, and we still have that opportunity to do that with this final event. So, especially for some of our, Jacob Raleigh and Sam Pauley are two of the best that's ever played at Whitworth. Career scoring average is right around par, with close to probably 30 to 50 tournaments under their belt. That doesn't change. Those are the same guys. Gabe Cash and Aaron Storm, also 2 seniors fighting for a spot in the lineup this week. Have shot multiple rounds in the 60s over their career. Aaron had a huge win at a home invitational a year and a half ago where he was 10 under for 2 days. So just some unbelievable guys that have brought so much to the program, and it's an opportunity to get on the road again and share an experience and fight for a tournament victory. And the expectation is that we go and compete and build confidence and have fun, and we'll see where it shakes out.